Now, Mr. President is here with us, a new president of Jamaica Agricultural Society, putting on his first Denby show. And I would just like for him to share with us what it is like taking over the reins of this August body and carrying out this responsibility for this year as president, and bringing this to its success as it is.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's been a pleasure having me. I am so elated. I'm delighted. I am enjoying the day.
Yes.
I have been around from a while. I am new in the presidential position, but I am an executive member working with approximately 4 presidents from Bobby Pottinger days.
Yes.
I work with Norman Grant. I work with Glendon.
Yes.
And I was the second vice president for Mr. Fulton.
Right.
And I learn along the line. I understudy and I try my best to achieve what I could achieve. I have never planned at any time to be a president. I thought I would serve my community, my country, serve my people, and then I would just say, okay, I have run the race and I've finished the course, and the good Lord has kept me in good faith, and I will move along. But my farmers and some of my executive members have seen it fit
that I should
be the one going forward. And so I decided, say, I will take up the challenge. Now, I'm learning over the years and seeing how the Denby show has run. With the kind of team I have, it make life easy for me. Good. So I give thanks for them. So they make life so easy for me going forward, and to work with the entire staff, our CEO who is so hardworking, so that we can make this show a success. It is a vision, and we tried our best to make sure that we execute the vision well, and we have seen result. And we are happy for it today.
Good, good. Well, I'm happy for that. And certainly you have really performed well. And, far beyond, I'm sure a lot of people figure so, because you're such a, easy laid back person, but then very clear thinker. They figure so, well, we don't know, but you have performed well and come out smiling and come out in good stead. Now, what was the most difficult part of all of this for you, though?
Well, the most difficult part is to know that last year, the Denby show was only 1 year, one day, because of the hurricane.
Yes,
So the kind of financial intake that we used to have.
Yes.
It wasn't there. So coming into this show,
Yes.
we didn't
You had a deficit.
Yes, we didn't have the kind of money to spend that we would generally have the other years, because it was a 3-day show.
Yes.
For the other year. That was just a 1-day show. But we have some sponsors who are very genuine. We have some who they pull back a bit on board, but since we took up this responsibility, they came back on board, and honestly, the good Lord has smiled with us, and things is going through very smoothly so far.
In terms of the organization, JS, are there any challenges that you are having with the organization apart from the show? Because you're shown that the show is a successful show, and like you say, you have sponsors coming on board.
Honestly,
but to run the organization as an organization, you see any kind of challenges, and what kind of new things you might want to bring to the organization?
Well, honestly, there were some challenges. There were some challenges because we have some court issues. We have some financial problems where some money was owed to the bank and things like that. So our team, we knock head together and said, okay, let us make sure that we do the things the best of our ability. And we have some senior people on the board who stood up with us, like some of our farmer mayor, Glendon Harris, and others who shared some of their past experience, and we were able to pull through. We were able to pull through some of them. We have been doing a good job so far, and even recently we have our AGM, and our people was happy because we were able to do our audits, and we were able to present our audits and our financial report to our farmers, and they were proud of what they have seen, and which lift the burden off of us a bit, because the last AGM, some of them was complaining a bit because things didn't run as smoothly as they wanted to be. And honestly, I want to bring to the board transparency. That's my first thing. There are quite a few things, but transparency. I want our farmers to know and to see
what the organization is doing,
all about, and what it's doing.
And how you're doing.
Yes, because we have, one of the challenge we had earlier on is that for the first 6 months when I took over, we spend most of the time fighting court issues. We spend most of the time fighting the court issues where people has sued the JS and other things, and so far the JS is coming out victorious one by one, and that is a good sign.
Well, that is good.
Yes.
There are any other new things that you want to bring to the organization apart from transparency?
Well, right now, one of the vision, and I spoke about it this morning, is that the last AGM we have, the people complain a lot about the accommodation. And I sat with the team and I said to them, look, we want to build a auditorium down here, so when we are having our meetings and we invited out our people, they can be comfortable. And in the same time, we want to do it where it can be an income earner, where people can rent it and use it for their meetings also and things like that.
So you've envisaged that that's going to take place, and you're going to be reaching to that level?
Yes, I have discussed it with quite a few times, and we are trying our best because we need some sponsors, we need some assistance somewhere along the line, because as it has said, no man is an island, and no man stands alone. You know, so we need our brothers and our sisters, and we need some business sectors and everything like that to come on board and see how much we can get some assistance going forward. You
envisage getting a good amount of support?
Well, we haven't started reaching out as yet, but we are expecting that we will reach out to even some overseas sponsors and see how best we can do it.
Okay, good. Fine. And anybody in particular?
Well, not yet.
Not yet,
because we just want to.
What kind of deficit are you carrying about? If you're care to share with us, or what level of deficit is? It's well over $10 million worth of deficit you might be carrying.
Sometimes I am a bit hesitant of touching those because I'm not the kind of person who like to wash my dirty linen in public. So some things I just a bit hesitant to do it. But I know that we are carrying a little, but with the good Lord, the help of the good Lord and what we are doing, we will come out on top as soon as possible.
Do you have anybody special to thank for your support for the festival for this year?
Yes, I personally like to thank the Ministry of Agriculture and Fishery and Mining. They have been very generous to us. They have played a very pivotal and vital role in this.
Yes.
We want to thank our main sponsors, that is Hypro, for what he has been doing. They have been doing over the years. It's not just a one-day thing, but a yearly thing.
Yeah, and they have been stood by you all
they
this time.
always stand out. So we want to thank them. And there are other sponsors. I cannot call everybody's name, but all the sponsors, I want to say to you, thank you. I also want to mention my CEO, who is very hardworking and is a person with vision. And I want to thank him. He has a very dedicated staff, a set of staff that stood out. And I want to thank the staff, and most of all, to all the farmers of Jamaica for being so patient and humble. Even though we were fighting and fussing and warring, they kept the faith and they stood out with us. And today, a lot of them saying that they have seen the new JAS and they like where we are going and they are willing to work with us. So I want to pick them up and give them thanks.
And how you feel about your personal stewardship so far?
Well, honestly, lean not unto your own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct thy path. The eyes of the Lord watches over the righteous, and his ears are always open to their cry. So I'm feeling good, as I have told him earlier on that the name that my parents gave me, I'm really going with it, but I am the Joseph of old, who went from Israel down to Egypt and was thrown into to pit, go to prison and come back to be
Yet you survive.
you understand, the king, and take care of his brothers and sisters. And I always tell them that I really look to him, and that is the person I try to picture at all times going forward. But in everything, I give God thanks, and I'm happy for seeing me, thanking him for elevating me, and thanking him for finding favor in me. So he's leading me in the right path that I can do what I am doing, and I'm very proud, I'm very happy.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Said. Really, really proud of the work you're doing and what you have been doing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All the best.
Blessed, sir. Thank you.
Here we have it. With me this afternoon is Miss Chantel McFarlane, who is one of the senior officers, I would imagine, with the Jamaica Dairy Development Board, in the absence of the director, Mr. Sayers. And we are going to be asking her to just bring us an update as to what are the activities that Jamaica Dairy Board within the last year, and what are some of the new innovations that the Dairy Board is coming with. Because I understand that they are doing quite a lot of stuff, not just theoretically, but they're also influencing policy of government across the board. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. My name is Chantal McFarlane.
Chantal McFarlane Forbes.
So let me correct that. I am the Standard Compliance Officer for the Jamaica Dairy Development Board, an agency of the Ministry, Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. So over the past year, the Dairy Board has been doing a lot with the current projects that we have going on now, along with heifer deployment. They do a lot of trainings. So one of our biggest projects currently now is training of our farmers, especially in St. Thomas, to get them certified dairyman. We have the equipment lease program that the minister launched sometime late
Equipment lease.
Equipment lease
And what is
program.
that basically?
Equipment lease is that the Jamaica Dairy Development Board, the assistance with the ministry, we procured big farm equipment to help our dairy farmers to make their life easier, to make their work more efficient.
Like what? You mean like tractors to plow land for
A
planting?
big TMR machine,
Yes.
a field harvester, so stuff like those machines that farmers can lease through the program to help them with their daily activities. So, and milking machines and milk and cooling tanks.
Okay, wonderful.
So currently, we have those equipment that are provided for the farmers. So when the farmers are ready, they can lease those equipment to help them with their daily activities or daily operations.
And the leasing price is reasonable?
It's very reasonable. I can't give you a quote, but it's low. It's lower than the actual cost. I think it's about maybe 2% or 3% of the original cost per month.
Wonderful, wonderful. Apart from that, I know the Jamaica Dairy Board had a thinking of using your grass, because you have at least 2 or 3 different varieties of grass that you're paying attention to at this time. Is it? What are the varieties of grass that you know pay attention to?
Currently, the most one is the Mombasa.
Mombasa
You know
grass.
about the Mombasa. I think recently we're trying to distribute a lot of the sorghum grains.
Yes.
So we have the large farms like Choo-Choos who are planting these sorghum grains, and they're very productive. They use it to make haylage. So currently now, if you come to our booth, we have a big haylage that weigh over 350 pounds that they use it to use the sorghum.
And the hay program, is it taking on across the country to a large extent?
To a larger extent, you have, because of our drought that is affecting Jamaica, we realize that a lot of small and medium, operations are making hay now to help our dairy farmers, not only for cattle, but also for goats.
For goats, okay, fine. What is the state of the small ruminant program that you have?
It's a big boost. It's also one of our major project that has been going on from 2021. The minister gave us the mandate to kind of monitor the whole cottage industry. So that's one of the products. So basically, you have small scale processors who make products in the comfort of their home, so they are called the cottage producers. So you have persons like Copper Ranch, Ruby, Goat Dairy, and you have Trinjam. So those person makes goat milk, goat cheese, goat yogurt, and sell it on our market. So
and there's a market now absorbing those production, and is it you have high production level for that?
The demand for goat milk
is incredible, isn't it?
So surpassing
Yes.
the supply.
Yeah.
So currently, if you come to our booth now, we have samples of goat milk.
Well, I can get a gallon when I come over there.
You'll have to, we have Copper here on beside Hyper Boots, and we have Trinjam down by Nutramilk. So they can get those products in, some of the supermarkets in Houston and St. Andrews.
I'd have to come over there to see some and get a sample of that. Now, there was a thinking that you would invite people, like say graduates from Nakalba, who are just getting off school, and they will invite them to get involved in the grass feeding growing program, where they would grow grass. You provide them with the seedlings, and they will set up some small farms where they would grow grass, and then they'll be able to purchase them for hay stock.
Okay. So one of our major project is the cattle importation. So along with that project, we're also working with the fodder conservation program, where that would we look at small and medium farmers, provide them with certain tools and equipment to plant grass so that they can help our dairy farmers. So we're looking at, medium and small operations that can handle making the amount so that they can supply our market.
Wow. And that is being successfully done at the time?
So far, the project is in its initial stage, so we are taking it snap. The cattle importation is way past that.
What is the level of milk production that the country is now enjoying?
Currently, I think the last time when we checked in June, we're at 7
million liters
yes,
per annum. And is there a projection to move it to maybe about 12 or 10?
Last year it was 10. I think this year we want to go to 12 million.
So you want to go to 12 million this year?
Hopefully we can reach 25 or 30 million by 2030.
Well, the kind of person like yourself and Mr. Reynolds and
Mr. Sears and Mr.
Sears,
Parks, the whole
and
team.
Mr. Parks, the entire team, you certainly will be able to reach it.
We will work to make the production surpass.
Congratulations, and I'm really, really proud of the work that you guys are doing here.
We're doing a lot. We'll have a small team,
Yes.
just 14 of us.
Yeah.
And we'll try to make the work so that we can continue to boost the dairy industry.
Well, I'm going to be coming to do an in-depth study of the dairy board and go with you guys on some farms in another couple of weeks to do a full exposure.
We invited to any of our cattle farms and goats. So it's no longer cattle. No, we have to involve the goat dairy project.
Yeah, man, that's great. Looking forward to that.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine. Thank you so much, Ms.
Okay.
McFarlane Forbes.
All right,
Have a
thank
nice
you.
day.
You
Great.
too.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Great. Definitely.
On smaller farmers, because we realize that it really is the small farmers who feed Jamaica. A lot of what is
Oh,
produced
yes,
from
indeed.
larger farms tends to go for export or some of the larger supermarket chains. But in terms of the municipal market, the local market, is really the small farmers who keep that going. And so this project is focused on small farmers. We are funded by Global Affairs Canada. Their kind donation is allowing us to implement some of the great work that we've been able to do here in Jamaica. This particular project is a regional one. So in addition to Jamaica, there's Guyana, there's Suriname, there's Dominica.
So you have what? Five other countries into this one particular project.
But here in Jamaica, we focus on supporting women and youth. So we're an economic growth project. So how is it that we can work through what we call an inclusive market systems approach, where it's looking at the system, the agriculture sector, identifying gaps, and then targeting those gaps to get the system to operate in a more seamless manner so that the farmers can derive the maximum benefit from the system. So you might say, that sounds like a lot. What does that look like? Right. So what
how
does
do you
that
build
look
that
like?
out?
Right. So it starts off with first doing an assessment of the various market systems. So we work primarily in herbs and spices, which includes the ginger, the turmeric, the hot peppers. We also do work with roots and tubers, so yams, sweet potato, dasheen, and with goats, because we know goat is entrenched in Jamaica's DNA.
Well, yes.
And more importantly, these market systems were identified as systems that smaller, poorer women and youth could enter into easily enough and be able to start making a good living from it. Because the project really is about, changing lives and livelihoods through agriculture. So we work through partnerships. So we work with RADA, we work with JS, we're here at Denby today. We work with the 4-H because, of course, you may know that the average age of the Jamaican farmer is about 50. Which means that we really do need to get young people involved in agriculture. And so that's the role that our project plays. We work with the existing partners and we come alongside to provide support. So that support could be capacity building for groups. A lot of our groups in Jamaica, they might be a little deficient in their governance operations. So we partner with Heart Trust NSTA, SDC, and the Department of Cooperative and Friendly Society.
And those organizations provide you with the kind of training to deal with the capacity building of these other groups.
That is correct. And what we do is we don't come into a space and try to assume the role of entities that already exist. So sometimes it might be a resource issue. So they may want to have
who's
the
on the ground.
trainings,
You look at who's
but they don't have the resources to be able to execute on the ground. So we may fill that gap, meaning provide for the lunches, pay for the venue. We also provide a transportation stipend because we don't want farmers, especially women and young people, not to be able to take to make opportunities because they can't afford it. So we provide a transportation stipend that gets the farmers to and from their trainings without them having to, be left out because they can't afford it.
So how do you find your people? How do you get your target group? How do you source them?
Well,
through RADA and places like that?
Right.
And
So
JS?
yes, correct. So as I said, we work through the existing partners.
Okay.
So we have our very clear parameters, must be women, must be youth. We do work with men.
What kind of age group are you talking about?
So for youth, anyone between the ages of 18 and 35. That's our how we categorize young people. And women, anybody who is above 35. Okay. So we work with them. And so we selection of farmers.
But you don't single out men. You single out women. In
we
particular.
do work with men. So we have a ratio. So it is 50% women, 30% youth, and 20% men. So we do work with men. It's not really discrimination. As I explained before, agriculture is seen kind of as a male-dominated industry.
So you want to be able to be more inclusive
and women to be more comfortable in the space, and we want the young people to feel like they have a space.
Young people in this way. We have quite a lot of young men who are really at risk, and they have the ability, they are creative.
Right.
They might have this wild creativity and not knowing which direction to put it in, and as a result, it gets a lot of them in trouble. But some of them need to be harnessed and to be given some direction. Is there any particular thrust that will be putting towards young at-risk youth, and how do we get them involved in creative use of leisure?
Right. So, for example, we do pilot projects. We do a lot of pilot projects where we start the farmers small, allow them to, hold their hands with their input providers.
Small, like a group of 5, 6?
No, man, like maybe 25.
25. Okay.
Let's say hot peppers is one of the areas, and we had a pilot where each farmer was given 500 pepper seedlings. They were provided with all the inputs that were needed to take those 500 seedlings from start to market. And then they were twinned with their extension officers, their input providers. So they got a lot of hand holding to bring those crops to. And then they were taught by RADA how to harvest seeds. So when they want to start their next crop, they don't have to go looking to buy seedlings or buy seeds. They learn how to do that. They also learn a bit of value addition, because you have some women so they make their pepper sauce. RADA teaches them how to make their pepper sauce and be able to deal with some of that post-harvest loss that they would have. But you were talking about young people.
Yeah,
so
and at-risk young men.
Right. So we have very targeted initiatives. So we will work with the Jamaica 4-H clubs, for example, and have pilots, have activities that are exclusively for young people. And that gives 4-H the opportunity to go out and find those young men. We provide them with the resources that they can introduce agriculture and create a safe space for them where they can innovate, because you rightly said, they're very creative. They just need to have those creative energies channeled in such a way that it is productive. So through the project, we're about providing capacity building support, training, giving them input sometimes because they need things in order to start. And then from that, again, linking them with markets. Who do they sell their produce to, once they've gotten through with the production side of things.
Wow. That's interesting. And how successful have you been so far?
Well, our target really for Jamaica in terms of hands-on engagement is to reach 5,000 farmers. And we have already engaged that 5,000 farmers. So we have found that
you have reached your target.
So we have reached our target, but we are not target driven. We're driven by making a difference in the lives and livelihood. So we continue to press on. We continue to engage with different market actors. We continue to find ways to train farmers and to introduce them to some new technologies and some tweaks in what they're already doing, because we recognize that farmers in their own right, they are professionals and they know best what works for them. So we come with a little additional knowledge to support them in their activities.
Wonderful. Is Nelson English Johnson,
yes,
Country Coordinator, WSC Caribbean Jamaica Limited, and they're at Cargill Avenue in Kingston 10. You can reach them at 876-470-8272. They are making a difference in the lives of not just Jamaican farmers and women and young people, but in men who are not just young men at risk, but men who are challenged and see themselves a little bit marginalized.
Yes.
Because sometimes there's tendency to say, we have to look after women. Who looks after the men?
Yeah.
And therefore, then we really appreciate this kind of stuff. And you've been around for how long?
We have been in Jamaica since 2016.
2016?
Yes.
Wow. That's good. We're going to have to talk again some more. I'm going to have to visit her sometime and see what's going on over there.
Right across there. So we are in the Youth in Agriculture Village.
Okay.
So I invite you and your patrons, if you are in the area, to come across and visit our booth. Lots of exciting
and the village is Youth in Agriculture.
Yes, the 4-H Youth in Agriculture Village.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.
Nice to have you. Here we go. Right and articulate Dr. Watson. She is the CEO of the Scientific Research Council of Jamaica. And thank you for joining me, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Always
good.
a pleasure.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you so much. Now, don't face it because she's just so nice and so polite, You step on her toe,
Like any Jamaican, that's how we are.
Yeah, that's how we are. Dr. Watson, it's good to have you on the microphone with me this afternoon. We are speaking to the diaspora, and we are deliberately speaking to the diaspora. We're talking to about 40, maybe 50 something countries when we speak to the diaspora for this particular conference. And we're trying to provide Jamaicans overseas with the understanding of what it means when we say Jamaica Agro, it says Jamaica Agribusiness Investment Forum. Let me put on my glasses so that I don't say the wrong thing. Global reach, local impact. But before we can make that global reach and even affirm a local impact, we have got to make sure that we know what we are doing.
Yeah.
We are doing it right. We're meeting the standards that are required for not just professional production, but authentic and real quality products in the marketplace locally and by extension to our people overseas. What is the role of the Scientific Research Council when it comes to an investment conference of this nature? And why would you consider that important?
Well, the Scientific Research Council, affectionately called SRC, because we like to simplify things.
Yes.
Especially when we're dealing with science. It's a government agency that was established to help Jamaica translate their natural resources into valuable endeavors that can help us to grow our economy. So we are blessed with a whole lot of natural resources. They're not just for us to look at. They're not just there for us to enjoy in their spaces. They are there for us to develop, enhance, so that it can help us sustain ourselves. Whether it be feeding us, taking care of our health, or creating some kind of economic activity around those natural resources. So the SRC was established to support that. So in doing said, the SRC looks at one, investigating, validating, researching the potential for these natural resources to create products from them. Whether it be therapeutic products. You hear about Jamaica having a lot of medicinal plants. Can we create nutraceuticals? Can we create health-based products from these plant material? Can we create food products or even cosmetic products? Because so we like how we look. We're kind of vain people to some extent. We like how we take care of ourselves.
But then that's an understatement.
We take care of ourselves. So the SRC looks at how we can utilize our natural resources to create value to help sustain our population and beyond. So that's what the SRC was established to do, to help support. And we do that in a lot of ways. Now, bringing it to the diaspora, what does a SRC mean to a diaspora? It means that you have a local agency that is there, that is able to help you connect the dots. We don't do everything, but we're definitely fundamental and straddle a lot of areas and can help you connect those dots. We're a good starting point. We're an excellent starting point once you have an idea of creating some value-added product. We're well known for the support we give to the food industry, but we go well beyond that. So that's the SRC.
So if I am in Atlanta and I decide that I want to come home, and I decided that I'm going to find Jimbilin, June plum, and I want to develop a jam or a jelly or a new toothpaste with a flavor, and I say to you that now listen, I can find a North American market here where I am, but I want to produce it in Jamaica. How do you facilitate me, and what is it that I need to do to be able to enjoy that facilitation?
Right. So we facilitate in several ways. So we start with the person who just have the capital and the idea. So you have some money because, 1 to 60 is significant. So you do your work and you have some capital now that you want to invest and you want to create a product. You like Jumbilin, like you said, or June Plum. You can engage the SRC with just that idea, that thought. And what we do is validate that idea that you might have in terms of exploring what will it mean? What kind of product do you want to establish, to develop? We help you to identify the potential markets for it from the get-go, because that is a part of developing that product. So
Yes,
even before we
yes.
get into the lab, we start thinking about how you're going to package it, who you're going to sell it to, where you're going to sell it, what do you want the experience to be like when someone interact with that. So we help you to figure that out. And once you figure that out, you start framing the identity of that product. And then we get into the lab and start helping you to formulate and develop that first prototype, that first sample that you, your family, your friends can experience to say, yeah, you're onto something. I think we like this. We can
It can work because a lot of persons don't understand that some products, you have to find the personality of the product.
You have to. You have to.
And that's so fundamental, because if you don't understand that, then you will know where you're going in terms of how you unravel and how you because you have to dissect it and then reassemble it.
And not just that too. We always tell our clients when they engage us, making the product is the easy part. Creating the business around that product is what a lot of persons don't put enough attention to, or it becomes an afterthought. So you have a great product, but it don't reach nowhere. And we see a lot of bad products that reach far.
Okay, yes.
Because they understand the market, they understand distribution, they understand
placement aspect of it and how to deal with it.
So the SRC is your partner that can do what I would say the easy part, create the product for you.
Okay,
But
so
we want you to
once
think
you
about the full
give people
business.
the opportunity, you help us to create the product.
Yes.
Then in terms of the framework of the marketing and the bridge to market, it's something that we'd have to take it from there.
We have other partners, both private and within the public sector. I'll speak to the public sector. You have the Jamaica Business Development Corporation.
And you'll be able to point us in that direction.
They talk about join up government now.
Join up government, right?
All of we join up. All of we know what each other do.
Okay.
And we know we care. It's a marathon.
Yes.
We carry to one point, we're gonna pass the baton on
Pass
to
the
the
baton
next.
on to the other.
And to the next. So Jampro then become an essential partner when you're thinking about exporting. You have Ministry of Agriculture when you're thinking about getting those raw material input. You have Industry and Commerce when you're talking about getting access to certain concessions or consideration if you need to bring in
privilege to bring in
and those
equipment.
kind of stuff. So there's a lot that is going on in the various public spaces.
But if I start with you,
we can help you,
can help to navigate that background.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And that is something that we have been speaking with other heads of agency. We had a conversation with Mrs. Cox, head of Jampro. And we're in the space, we're talking to the would-be business persons, entrepreneurs, and we're hearing them, we're hearing the challenges. So while we'll sit here confidently and say, no man, a lot of government support, a lot of systems are in place, it's disjointed in some aspects, and the awareness and knowledge is just not there. So what we try to do is to ensure that we are well informed, well educated in terms of what the network and the frameworks look like. And we're now trying to make that map a lot clearer. And so whichever one of us you connect to, we can direct you and guide you. Because the aim for us is to get our people productive, producing products or services that can sell to ourselves and to the world. Because that is the way that Jamaica will become prosperous. Make
Because
no bones about it.
the government declare a war on unproductivity, not production. Fine? But there is always the argument, or there has been the argument, that waiting on government is like waiting for Godot. Because it takes too long for it to come. It goes to one ministry or one department, and it go there, and then the first person who carried the hire died, and the daughter take over, and the daughter is still 47 going into 50 and still waiting. It might not be as bad as that, but if you understand,
I can
because
tell you,
it's such a painfully long exercise.
I can tell you, to some extent, I agree, and we hold on to trauma. So that might have been the case.
Oh
Maybe
yes,
as recent
we're a
as-
sucker for trauma.
as 5 years
better
ago,
word.
but I can tell you, and you probably feel it when you engage these agencies. There is a different tempo that they're moving with.
Oh yes.
Changes happening. So I cannot negate those experiences because
But you're
it's a
saying
part of
that
keeping
they
us
still
safe
change your foot to
and measuring
to
your
change that.
expectation. We are nowhere where we need to be. We need to be utilizing more technologies to remove a lot of the bureaucratic red tape.
But before you move the technology, you might have to move some people, you know.
Definitely.
Because there are some people who are just a humbug because I'm not sure those persons who are the humbug know why they are the humbug.
Hey, see, you
It's just a
as
mindset.
member of the tax paying, few or majority, whichever one it is, you have a voice to help move those roadblocks when you buck up on them.
Part of my issue sometimes is that some people don't like me.
We do it for the
But
We're
not
not doing it for the likes.
No, because I just had a talk to the gentleman from one agency a while ago, and they said that we are an agency that we encompass all other so. I said, but listen, no. There are times when Jamaican government make these creatures, and then because they're made up of persons and personalities who don't understand the service and the urgency,
Yeah.
and why people have to wait in line for some things that don't get through. It creates a problem. And
That's
some
a
people
reality.
pack up and give up and say them we can't bother.
It's a reality. And you have the theory of the 80-20, where in any organization, but most times what you find is that you have a critical mass of 20% who is doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Oh, yes.
It's a reality that we face. And there are those of us who is actively fighting to get that 20 to 30 to
Yes.
35 to 40 to 50.
If we can get it to 45, it
Listen,
yes.
so it's something that we're aware of. It's almost natural to revert to a place of complacency,
Yes,
comfort.
of course it does.
But I can tell you, at least the CEOs and the agencies that we work with, the kind of passion that I'm seeing is something that is inspiring to me. There's still a lot to be done. And we have those that are willing to do the hard, flattering, and those work that come without any kind of.
There's no thanks that comes with it. Yes.
Yeah.
There's no thanks that
And
comes
we're
with it.
okay with that. So you're getting more of those kind of persons in the spaces that they need to be. And I really do believe
Within the
this is
context of
change.
that, because like you said, there are a lot of changes that are needed and required and are expected, but some of it is not coming. But when you have institutions, like for example yours,
The SRC, yes.
and you have 2 or 3 workers at whatever level that you realize are going the extra mile and are doing that extra thing, it behoves you to recognize them. Put them out there so the rest of everybody see them. So that,
Yes. Yes.
because one, you inspire them and you encourage them
Yeah, you have to create that culture.
to develop a culture.
Yeah, that
because, and to
positive
change a
culture
culture.
of recognition
Yes.
for good work.
Yes.
You have
Yes,
to, and
it
you have
has
to be
got to.
intentional about it.
Yes, it has got to be.
Can't be a case because
must
you're
be
doing good.
premeditated.
Everyone said, no one, you're too enough. We don't encourage that kind of thing. So I'm confident and can tell you that is the kind of culture we're very deliberate about at the SRC. Very deliberate about it.
There's another element of forces who I call, and if you try to move to another level, to say, is Doctor, what's her name? May I speak to her? So yeah, how can I help you? Because she's not available right now. You inside of the office, you just left her and go inside. She give you the file and you go inside.
Yeah.
But she's not here now. Can I help you? Well, I want so. Well, you would have to leave a message or send her an email or send a letter. Then she's the same person who opens the email for you.
Yes.
Because you can't talk to everybody.
Yes.
So you expect her, but then she don't say, well, she open the email and then put a list and say, Doctor, there's an email from Tom Strokes, Mary Jane, and so. She decides to answer that email.
Yes. I see what you're
And
saying.
then
I
it
get
spends 6 months or a year and I don't get a chance to speak to you. And it might have been a thing whereby all you had to say, oh, great, Mr. Miller, guess what? Call this number and talk to Miss Miller. Because Miss Miller is a person who so. She don't have that answer, but she decided to block the process and stop it.
So
And you don't reach anywhere.
that is for that you have to put in system to manage and minimize those kind of occurrences.
Yeah.
And eliminate where you can. So for us, I can tell you with us, once is the business of the council. For example, if someone call the email address that is given is an email address that at least 3 other persons have access to.
Okay.
So if that person decides that they want to, for whatever reason, they might not have liked the interaction with you. They didn't like how you sound on the phone.
Yeah.
You know, with spirit not tech people.
When
For whatever
the
reason.
spirit not take us,
Spirit not take-
man call them like a show.
You see?
And they argument on
The
them.
buck doesn't stop there.
You know,
because there's
kill you.
3 other person who will see this communication, see this request coming in, see this interest coming in, and all 3 of them can't have the same view because again, it's not their personal business. It's
Yeah.
business of the country, the business of the council. So at some point, responsibility is taken,
And not only,
communication
yes,
must happen.
and people must be answerable too.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
Dr. Watson is a person in charge of the Scientific Research Council of Jamaica, and we're just here having a discussion about the if, what's, maybes, and you know the challenges that you know you encounter when you have the responsibility for governing parts of the public sector or even private sector, and how you provide service and benefits to the persons who are mostly in need and who it is established to facilitate. You know, and it's not a personal thing, it's about how do you get productivity and production.
Yeah.
Dr. Watson, good to see you.
Same here. But before we leave, just to say the belief or the kind of belief that we try to build in our team at the SRC is that we're not just a government agency. We're a facilitator of productivity of industry. We're enabling persons to realize their dreams. We're not there working on our passions or our dreams. We're helping the average, ordinary Jamaican to realize their dream. They are the ones that are going to change the country, not necessarily us. We are just a vehicle to
you're part of the instrument
support.
that facilitate to
But
make
it's
it
really them being brave and committing their time, their resources, their hard-earned money. Some persons would have gone to work overseas for 30 years.
Yes.
So it's not a plaything when they come back and say, "I want to start this." We try to ensure that we understand that is a big risk people are
And
taking,
a lot of people don't
and we have to be
understand
responsible with
take
that
it.
risk. So we are here as your facilitator, as a part of your support system to enable you to realize those dreams. Some of them might be wild, some of them might be low-hanging.
Yes, some of them might be far-fetched, but then it's a dream, it's an idea, unless you get a chance to flesh it out. You won't know where it will go. One of the things that we would love to be able to do is sometimes take a deep dive into the SRC and spend time to look at the different people at the different ladders and the different ranks. To come inside there and talk to people and to get a fulsome idea as to what they do and how they feel about what they do.
Yeah.
And the level of commitment that they bring to the process. So that the rest of everybody else can say this is an organization made of human beings who are working for human beings.
Exactly.
And believe that the aspirations
we are not humanoids yet. Not yet.
We're not humanoids yet. Listen, I appreciate this. Thank you so much.
And thank you for having us.
The pleasure is mine. You know,
thank you for having us.
still I got bother you, still I got your headache and everything become in the ease of me.
You know.
Yeah, because
Hey,
you're
you're
gonna
doing the
stop coming right
work.
now.
It's work.
No.
Do the
But
work.
my commitment, I mean, me retire, all me doing is this, providing, facilitating the diaspora to those people who want to come back home. Because I said to my son the other day, I said, if my son is 42, and I said, listen, if no more can I work for you,
Yeah.
come here. You want piece of land up a country that's so fine.
Yeah.
Agriculture is doing all sorts of things. So him tuning in, I'm sure I'm listening
You
to
can at least sustain yourself and your family.
When I hear that you can farm sea moss, I was frightened. I said you can't just sit on a seaside, bathe every day, catch fish every day, and grow sea moss.
Just like that.
Just like that. And make a fortune.
There's a lot of
A pound
potential.
of dry sea moss is almost $6,000.
There's a lot of potential here. A whole lot.
Doctor, bless your heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
All right.
Thank you so much. My very special and first guest for the afternoon is Mr. Orville Hill. Mr. Hill is the general manager for the Jamaica Social Investment Fund. And it is good to have him because he's the JSIF, as it is called, JSIF, Jamaica Social Investment Fund. This company is one of the companies that does a lot of infrastructural and social infrastructural work in this country. And when we speak to Mr. Hill, he will tell me which ocean they find the money out of and how they're able to finance the various and give us an idea what are the social programs they're doing and how they network within the context of the agricultural sector and how JC functions. Mr. Good afternoon. Welcome to Flex TV on the Tenny Miller Live Show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And my pleasure to be here with you.
Oh, it is a pleasure to have you here this afternoon. Now, tell us, first of all, what is JSIF for the benefit of Jamaicans in the diaspora who don't know?
Okay. Jamaica Social Investment Fund is an organization that is totally owned by the government of Jamaica.
Yes.
Right? So we are a government agency,
Mm-hmm.
and our role and mandate is really as an implementing agency
Mm-hmm.
for the different projects
Mm-hmm.
that are done by the government of Jamaica.
Okay.
Right? So, and these projects are usually funded in several different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are from donor funding,
Okay.
and others are from loan funding that is done between the international organization and the government of Jamaica.
So if there's a bilateral agreement and stuff like that, and there's money involved, then you handle the management of that.
Yes. So you make mention of our involvement in agriculture.
Yes.
One of the projects that we are managing currently
Mm-hmm.
is the Rural Economic Improvement Project, the Ready 2 project.
What is that basically?
Right? Now, just to mention that we had a project like this before,
Mm-hmm.
which is referred to as the Ready 1,
Mm-hmm.
and based on the success of that project,
Mm-hmm.
it was decided that we would have a second one. So we are into the second Ready, and it's therefore mentioned as Ready 2.
Ready 2.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Now, what are some of the components of Ready 1 to Ready 2?
They're very similar,
Mhm.
But Ready 2, the focus for the Ready 2 project is in two key areas of economic development:
All right.
agriculture and tourism.
All right. Cool.
Right? Those are the two specific areas
Mm-hmm.
that the Ready 2 project focuses on.
And what are some of the specific products that you know have going, and how does that fit within the context of diaspora Jamaicans who are listening to you now, because your primary audience now are Jamaicans in the diaspora, and they would like to know what go on a year that I can benefit from, that I can fit into, that I can find a way to get into.
Okay. Well, I say this to you. The projects that we have now
Mm-hmm.
are a number of different projects. We have project that is funded by Caribbean Development Bank.
Okay.
The Ready 2 happen to be a project funded by the World Bank.
All right.
It's a loan between the World Bank and the government of Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
We have also a project that is funded through the Consolidated Fund,
Mhm.
funded by Jamaica directly. right?
Okay.
The ICDP 2 project.
Mm-hmm.
But as you talk about the diaspora,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, the diaspora would not be directly involved in funding these projects,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sure that we can have a conversation and we can develop a project. Matter of fact, some years ago, there was some consideration of a project to be funded through the diaspora.
Okay.
And as such, that can be done, but it would be done in a context whereby we do have the agreement with the government of Jamaica being
Mhm.
a part of it, given that we are a government
Okay.
agency. But I tell you this now, we are integral, because like the Ready 2 project, which is a loan from the World Bank,
Mm-hmm.
the funds are designated areas as to how it comes to us,
Mm-hmm.
and we do the reporting to the World Bank to make sure that the funds are spent in accordance with the agreement that is outlined.
Mm-hmm.
So similarly, we can do an initiative with the diaspora funded projects,
Mm-hmm.
and then we would make reports to the designated agency that manages it on behalf of the diaspora as to how the funds are dispersed, to make sure that in the first place we would have a clear outline
Mhm.
as to how the funds are to be spent, what are the critical areas that they want money to be spent in, because that's an integral part of what we do.
Okay, that's what you mean.
Whatever we take on,
Mhm.
there is a clear agreement as to how the funds are to be used, and we manage the funds in agreement and in consistency with the agreement that is outlined.
So your department is not really, despite you spend government money, you spend private sector money, you spend international money, but then you are accountable to the various agencies. So you're not a creature of parliament, so to speak.
Well, we are a creature of parliament in that our annual fiscal space is outlined and dictated by
Parliament based upon the social and other needs that are.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the spending is governed by that. But nonetheless, when we do make our expenditures, it is in accordance and consistent with the agreement. I'll give you an example then.
Okay.
The CDB portfolio
Yes.
that we are also administering caters for disbursement in the areas of improving educational facilities like schools and also the underserved farmers in certain rural communities.
Right.
Right? So once we have established those parameters in regard to schools, we liaise with the Ministry of Education to identify the schools that are in greatest need.
Okay.
And then once we do that, we submit the report to the CDP. They are approving the expenditure in those areas.
So
And
you
then we
do
go
the
to
assessment and analysis and then develop a program around the needs based
and
upon
then
that.
we go to implementation.
Wonderful. I spoke to diaspora in the sense that Jamaicans in the diaspora wants to come home, wants to get involved in something that is happening a yard. What kind of window is there to accommodate and to facilitate this?
All right. So the window is there. Firstly, the dialogue will take place to agree the area that they would like their funds to be spent in. Right? Because it's not that the money is going to come to JSIP and then we choose.
So, Joseph, but they can say, oh, listen, I want a school in Ipswich and I want a clinic in Balaclava.
Yeah,
That kind of a thing.
But just a caution, you know.
Yes.
If you go to schools, we normally work with Ministry of Education in terms of the area of greatest need. Right? So we don't just go out and take a school and do an improvement to a school. Right? So if it is that the diaspora would want their funds to be spent in education, that can clearly be established.
Okay.
We would then liaise with Ministry of Education and say, we have funds available, XYZ. Share with us the area that is of greatest need. When we get that, we would submit that report to the diaspora and say, this is what is identified by the Ministry of Education.
Fantastic.
And once you said, okay, we are good with it, then we go to making a detailed plan as to how the nature of the improvement, exactly what it will cost, and what we estimate the cost will be. And we have all of that signed off, and then we go to implementation.
Mr. Hill is the general manager of the Social Investment Fund, and we are getting a full understanding as to this creature of parliament, how it functions, how it works, and how it operates on our behalf, and how it accounts for whatever it is entrusted in their responsibility to carry out on behalf of not just Jamaica, but the people of Jamaica. Fine. For example, there is a project, as I heard on the news this morning, and let me just bring that forward. There's a major problem with the Montpelier Road going from, I think it's Anchovy, all the way up to Montpelier, fine, into Cambridge and beyond, into Ramble. And I understand that you're going to be responsible for that project.
So we are working on the side of the road.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Oh, so you're looking at the water. You're dealing with the water.
Yes,
Okay.
the water supply to the area.
Yes.
The challenge is that the road has been in a bad condition.
Yes, has been.
Now.
Yes.
And given that we are doing pipe work, it would not be prudent for NWA to do paving of the road until we have completed it.
Okay.
So once we have completed the part assigned to us, then we expect that they will come in and do the paving and improvement to the actual road surface. But that part is not our execution to be done.
Okay, good. So I would just like, before we go, and I really appreciate you being here and sharing with us and giving us a deeper insight as to how you function and how the JCF functions. In light of this agricultural investment seminar, what would you have to say to our diaspora Jamaicans out there in terms of the importance and the value and the need for them to really participate and to get on board?
Yes, well, what I will say is that the Ready to project is making significant inroads in improving the quality of agricultural production and a number of the various elements that assist our farmers in getting their products to market.
Yes.
So, for instance, we have made improvement in cold storage facilities.
Right. Yes.
Which is
I know that.
important.
Yes.
In order to make sure that their produce can be stored safely and ready for the market and so forth. So we have done significant roads in that, and as such, we are here as a major sponsor because we think it is important for new technology to be brought to bear in terms of our production activities and for all the different players in the market, the farmers, the investors, and everybody to come together. And this convention is intended to bring all the parties together so that there can be knowledge sharing and we can go forward with better planning and better execution. Now the diaspora can be involved in it in that we can have similar initiatives that the diaspora can be involved with. What happens is that this particular project is you have a particular scope for it to be done.
And it's the first of its kind.
With the, with the World Bank. But their involvement will not necessarily be a part of this particular project, but we can have similar projects that we
as you roll out other things too.
We can have similar product that we roll out in partnership with the diaspora. Because that is part of the role in a partnership is what will make a difference as we go forward.
Orville Hill, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
It's a pleasure of mine having you here, sir.
Invite to the stage our next panelist and our moderator. This one is on the Jamaica Special. This one is on the business of local flavor, connecting Jamaican farms and agro-processors to the tourism sector. That's the name of it. We're inviting to the stage Mr. Christopher Denny, Vice President of Investments and Linkages at Jambro. So come forward. Mr. Denny has fans in the audience. He's just turning around and waving back to the audience. No autographs, please. You know, he's here for a short time. And we're inviting to the stage our panelists. We have with us from the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority, Ms. Kelly Dawn Hamilton, CEO. And she actually has a very special presentation on the Special Economic Zones in Action Strategic Investment. Also invited to the stage, Dr. Kerry Wallace, our Executive Director of the Tourism Enhancement Fund, and soon to be Big Pharma. And we are inviting Mr. David Fairman, VP of the Best Dressed Foods. Best Dressed Chicken, I thought it was a group name. More best dressed things, you know, chicken and best dressed eggs, best dressed chickens. Thank you so much, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, that completes our panelists, and I now turn you over to our very able moderator.
Thank you very much, Debbie, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or rather good afternoon, still early afternoon. I am going to ask our Chief Executive Officer from the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority to lead us out with a special presentation. Kelly Dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, Kelly Dawn Hamilton.
Thank you very much, Chris, and good afternoon, everybody. So I do have a PowerPoint presentation, and my job here today, ladies and gentlemen, is really to take you through, make the link between planting your seeds, rearing your animals, and moving up the value chain, because that is what the Special Economic Zone framework allows. So this morning, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit about our global context, and I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. The world population is intended to increase, or projected to increase, to 9.7 billion by 2050. What this means is that we need to produce approximately 50 to 60% more food today than we're producing now. We also will need to balance quality with quantity. We'll have resource constraints. We have to face things like climate change in our country, Jamaica. We'll need more arable lands, more fresh water, more energy. Agriculture currently uses 70% of fresh water globally, and that means that we will require more in order to meet this need. Innovation and sustainability. So we will need to incorporate that more in order to feed these additional persons. Nearly 30% of all foods that are produced are lost, right? Whether through waste or we just lose the output. We need better storage, better packaging, and of course, consumer education. So these are some challenges that we have. Or these are some opportunities that we have. Jamaica's value proposition. We know it, we spoke about it, we punch above our weight, we little, but we tallow. So there's a strong demand for Jamaican products. A few years last year, we would have participated in trade missions in the US, UK, Canada, and really taking our business persons, and Home Choice was one of those companies that participated with us, and taking our business persons to different companies across these countries. And one thing that was repeated was that they can't get enough Jamaican goods. So the demand is there for our products. We have an incentive regime through the SEZ. We also have productive input relief, but my job here this morning, ladies and gentlemen, is to really speak about SEZ. We have proven experience in the sector. We have warehouses, increased tech and innovation, strong logistics network, preferential access through trade agreements. Ladies and gentlemen, there is untapped potential. And that is why you're here today, to understand what those are and to understand how we take advantage of them. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the logistics landscape, just to make the connection that if we're going to grow, if we're going to increase our output, we have to export, right? But we know that there is also an opportunity for the local market, because we heard that we are importing a lot of things. The fish minister spoke about earlier. So we have potential all around. If we're talking about logistics, we have to talk about our new airline, yes, that is allowing us more space and capacity to get our goods in and out of the island. Connect Air Cargo, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I said it in my head. Connect Air Cargo. So ladies and gentlemen, we have untapped opportunities in a number of areas, and I just honed in on a few produce here. And of course, we know that we have livestock as well, and we have the fisheries, and we have other areas. But ackee is an untapped export key. Jamaica is one of the few FDA-approved exporters of ackee. Ginger, Jamaica's gold spice. Turmeric, wellness giant. Suddenly, breadfruit is trending. All of us probably grew up with a breadfruit tree in the backyard. We never know that breadfruit would now be termed gluten-free, health this, high this, whatever, but breadfruit is trending, and we have it here in abundance. Avocado. When I was growing up, I knew it as pear. And you go out on the tree and you pick the pear and you eat it with a piece of bread. No, it's avocado. You have avocado toast, and it is in high demand. And the pear, the avocado that we have here in Jamaica, like our people, is special. So there is big opportunity for avocado orchards. Pimento, allspice, can't get enough of it. Overseas, our diaspora wants it, and persons outside of the diaspora as well. And there's a lot of opportunity to get into more value-adding We heard Sean Garbutt speak earlier, Walker's Wood, about the potential, yes, about his value-added services, and that has translated into him being in Publix. Home Choice, same thing, value-added services. And so this is where the special economic zone regime comes in. So what is the SEC? Basically, simply put, it's a designated space within which you get access to incentives, you operate under a different customs regime, and by different, more flexible. Why would the government do this? So how many persons familiar with free zones? Yes, we've heard about free zones. So this is not that. The SEZ is a modernization of the free zone regime. So under the free zone regime, you had to export up to 80% of your output. What the SEZ regime facilitates is that wherever you want to sell, we heard the opportunity for local selling. And so the SEZ allows you to sell in any market of your choice, any market that makes sense for your business. So the regime was put in place in 2016. We're almost 10 years old. There's no export quota requirement. We also have a work from home. But for agriculture sector, depending on what you're doing, you could. Because we're going to need the support services on the agriculture as well. It's a whole industry, and we're about developing an industry, an ecosystem around the industry in order for it to grow. We have prohibited industries, but the truth of the matter, ladies and gentlemen, is that agriculture is a priority industry for us. So SEZ is for agriculture. What that means is that we're looking again at the value add. So high value crops, the areas that we're looking at, high quality nutraceuticals, tech-focused greenhouses, agro-processing. So if you have a facility that is doing these activities, if your company is undertaking these activities, you can benefit from the SEZ. Cold chain and logistics, those fall within our special economic zones as well. And ultimately, what SEZs provide, when you bring your goods into your zone, you're not paying any duties on the items. You're not paying any general consumption tax on the items that you purchase for use in your zones. So when you're setting up your warehouse facility, or when you're setting up your cold storage facility, whatever you purchase, whatever machinery you purchase, no duties, no GCT. You're also paying a lower corporate income tax rate. So this differs from the productive input relief in that way, in that your corporate income tax rate that you currently pay is approximately 25%. For those of you who don't know, that can go down to 17.75 with the application of tax credits. In the SEZ, you're paying 12.5%, and that can go down to 7.75% as well. So agriculture, agro-processing, agro-technology, priority for growth for us at the Special Economic Zone Authority. So just a view of what the incentives are, and these are our fiscal incentives. No GCT, as I mentioned, 50% stamp duty relief from income tax on rental income. So let me tell you how that works. If you have land and you're seeking to develop it, let's say you want to support the farming industry by providing that land space. If you become a special economic zone developer, whatever, and you decide to lease the land, whatever you collect in terms of rental income, you do not pay any corporate income tax on that. Let me repeat, you may not have heard. Whatever you collect in terms of rental income as a developer, you pay 0% corporate income tax. What that means, yes, in effect, you're paying no corporate income tax. So you build out the facility, you build out that agro park. Now, what that does, having gotten these incentives, you are operating at a lower cost, which means you are able to provide your services at a lower cost, right? Making us more competitive when you're selling locally and internationally. Now, you can come in as two ways in the special economic zone. So we spoke about the developer, you are the landholder, right? In terms of the eligibility requirements, you must have issued and paid up share capital of 1.5 million, and persons use the land to show that, and other assets to show that capital. And of course, you must be in one of the permitted industries. For the occupant, and so now this is for a company like Home Choice that is doing the productive activity. When Home Choice sets up in the zone, they have to show it should have paid up share capital of $25,000 and capitalization of $50,000 in the first year, which they would have. Now, why Home Choice would want to set up in the zone? Because they do benefit from the lower corporate income tax rate, 0% GCT on any purchase for use in the zone, 0% rate of duty in the zone, and of course, again, that low corporate income tax rate. So it's a lower cost structure for companies that are seeking to grow their business. Now, some projects that we have in the pipeline, Minister would have spoken earlier about the Cayman and Special Economic Zone, and we have had persons coming up to ask how can they get in, because they have agro-processing business that they would like to do. It's 700 acres, 400 acres that will be built out to facilitate this type of activity. So agro-processing space, manufacturing, logistics, all that will take place at the Caymanas. And if you don't know where it is, it's in St. Catherine on the Mandela Highway, right after you pass that Fesco gas station. If you're heading to Montego Bay, it's on your left, and it's that area after you pass the Fesco, that entire area of that down to about the entrance to Portmore. Another opportunity that we have in our special economic zone is a pharmaceutical zone. Right now, one of the persons who asked a question earlier, she said that beekeeping is the base of everything agriculture. Absolutely. And agriculture is the base of everything else that we do. And so for our pharmaceutical industry, we have developed an opportunity, and we're shopping into our private sector investors. And it's looking at setting up a manufacturing hub using pharmaceuticals, right? A pharmaceutical hub. So there are a number of opportunities as it relates to an agricultural park. There are models of them that exist, and I encourage you to look at Ethiopia, Kenya. Mexico has used the model quite successfully, and they have developed clusters around their special economic zones. So ladies and gentlemen, we have a booth here. We're in the exhibition hall. Team members, SCZ team members, if you can just raise your hands so that people can identify you. Thank you. So whatever questions you have, we're here to facilitate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kenny Dawn. So we now know what the Special Economic Zone Authority can do for us. She's really laid out some very alluring facilities and options for us thinking of going into business in the business of agriculture. We heard this morning, those of you who were here, heard from Minister Floyd Green, that the government has agricultural linkages for tourism as a top priority. So we know that this is very important. What I'm going to do for our panel is that we're very lucky. Dr. Kerry Wallace has prepared a presentation that can set the stage. So I'm going to invite him to the podium to make his introductory remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from Dr. Kerry Wallace, CEO of the Tourism Enhancement Fund.
Thank you everyone, and thanks for being here. I think all the organizers who have made this event possible. I mean, it's such a brilliant thing to do. I was surprised it hadn't been the 10th anniversary. The Jamaica Agri-Invest conference just makes so much sense to bring all the brain together, all the stakeholders together for the advancement of this industry. So I would want to ask the question, can we create a link between tourism and the agri-industry to create a first world Jamaica? Many of you here will have lived in or visited a first world country. We all probably have relatives in a first world country. Big question, why don't we create a first world country here? We're a developed country. I know some people say the politically correct way of saying it is a developed country, not first world. But when I say first world, everybody gets it, right? Why can't we have the quality of life, the quality of income, the quality of safety, the quality of housing, the quality of public health, quality of transportation? Why can't we create it here? We believe that we have the assets, certainly from a tourism perspective, that provides us that hook that can pull enough dollars from the rest of the world into Jamaica to create that kind of income for our country. But it won't stay here if we don't allow that dollar to spread right into the communities of Jamaica. And in order to do that, we have to build our supply to tourism. We have to build out the reach, the expansion of tourism, not just coming in to hotels, but coming into the country. And so the few slides I have will point to how I see us making that happen. Thankfully, we have a tourism linkages network hosted at the TEF. In fact, I'm going to sing about Carolyn McElroy, who heads that department, and her team. Let's give her a round of applause, please. To create that bridge between tourism and linkages. So, tourism as it is contributes 30% of GDP. It provides a third of all the jobs in Jamaica. Last year, 4.15 million visitors, and I just pause to say that when you have 4.15 million persons on vacation, I think you can all relate to this. They consume a little bit more than persons going about their regular business, right? When you wake up in the morning and you eat a Pop-Tart or you have a toast and then go to work, when you're on vacation and it's all inclusive, you're mad. Eating a full breakfast, full lunch, full dinner, full jerk chicken on the beach, you're really consuming a lot more. We earned 4.3 billion in earnings last year. And the projection is just more growth. In a few short years, we'll have 20,000 additional rooms. So I don't know how many of you would have passed the Hard Rock coming that construction. If you go west, you pass the Pinnacle, going that construction, going up, huge growth coming into Jamaica from a tourism standpoint, which translates into more consumption, more need for products and services made in Jamaica. I have to big up my minister, who would also back here apologize for not being able to be here. But here is the challenge. While the Caribbean is the most tourism-dependent region on the planet, while the Caribbean has the bluest waters on the planet, not sure how many of you know that, the bluest, so when they look at the whole globe, and many of the waters are grey and dark, whatever. The region that has the bluest waters is the Caribbean. And here, the local sourcing for agricultural products into the hotels is at 32%, meaning a 68% of opportunity. Thankfully, in Jamaica, we're slightly higher. The highest in the Caribbean is the Dominican Republic. And in that country, they have a lot of mega farms that are supplying the mega hotels that are there. We have mega hotels coming into Jamaica, but we still have to be facilitating the combination of a lot of the smaller farmers to be able to meet the demand. We're at 40% of the supply to hotels. So there is a need for investment into growing these farms into mega farms to be able to meet that supply. The best way I can describe it is to say, imagine lifting up your farm and migrating with it to a first world nation. And you would imagine the type of changes you would have to make, the volumes to have economic scale, the consistency of quality and delivery and efficiency and so on, the mechanization that you would have to go into. That is pretty much how we have to think as farmers in Jamaica. Because from a tourism standpoint, first world has come to Jamaica. Ideal Stars have 100 hotels globally. Reels have 98 hotels globally. Forget the Marriott has 9,000 hotels globally. So when they put one in Jamaica or two in Jamaica or several in Jamaica, they are bringing that first world model from central office in Spain or wherever it is, and just applying that model here in Jamaica. So how Jamaican tourism grew with, you can't know people, Miss Mary's son who can't cook, so you're hiring, and all these are done. You better have the qualification, you better have the supplies, you better sign the contracts, you better have the delivery, you better be operating at first world standards. So, but it's a great opportunity because the kind of volume that you can move when you enter that space is phenomenal. Now, it's a $2.9 billion US opportunity. So I do encourage more brokers to get involved. One of the big things that we tend not to do in Jamaica is partner and not to collaborate as much. And that is an opportunity for our agricultural industry. If we can create cooperatives so that cooperative gets a contract and combine, you can meet those suppliers. We provide trading and linkages on how to be able to meet the demand in the hotels. We actually get the research on what is being demanded by the hotels that Jamaicans can reproduce. Now, one of the areas that is rarely talked about is for you to get involved in tourism, not just by supplying hotels, but for you to become a tourism entity yourself from your farms. Meaning visitors come and have the experience of being on your farm. Massive industry globally. It's set for growth. It's 8.1 billion last year. It's set to grow to double by 2030. In the US alone, 28,000 farms are into agritourism. Strawberry picking. In Italy alone, they have what we call tourism, which is where the experience is walking through the vineyards and then you're stomping on grapes and then you sample the wines and you learn about winemaking. 9,000. Remember, Jamaica gets 4.15 million last year. They get 9,000 every year, 9 million every year, just for that type of farm tourism. Let's call it that, tourism. We have the best coffee in the world, best ginger in the world, best turmeric in the world, best jerk in the world. Chicken, and pork and so on. Sure doesn't get it sponsored. So there is opportunity. We see it happening. We see Sush in the Bush doing it. In fact, New Zealand has the highest level of agritourism in the world. They have great farm tourism partnerships. They have government-supported certifications so that it gives the confidence in the visitors going. And they average $108,000 around each farm. So imagine you have a farm and you're going to add this. You're still selling products, where you're going to add this type of income. And we have some persons doing it. We have Stush in the Bush that does it as well. But as I said, Jamaica has an unfair competitive advantage. I don't know how we were so blessed. If I was another country, I wouldn't like Jamaica. I'd be too jealous. How can you be such a small island and have so many things going for you? How are you so blessed? Best ginger, best coffee, best turmeric. And so the opportunity for us is to convert that into wealth. So Sandals has done it, 81% of their agricultural products is sourced locally. And as I mentioned, Social in the Bush has done that concept as well too. The linkages, we are here to facilitate. We have meetings with the purchasing managers of hotels and all suppliers for them to need to buy their products. We have a partnership with the Exit Bank to provide funding for you to upscale, for you to mechanize, for you to grow and get bigger with your business supplying tourism. We have the Alex platform, a digital platform that ensures that all the small farmers still have an opportunity, still have a bridge to the hotels. When the hotel come and say they want a container load of carrots per week, which family in Jamaica are going to go for that? So you have to therefore work with many farmers, and the purchasing manager says, listen, I can't have a whole day of 20, 30 farmers, me counting what carrots to receive them. So this was our answer, make it all digital. The farmers go online, put in what they have each morning, they click, click, click and add it up, and that's how we supply to them. That's how we're able to bridge that gap. And this is the kind of volume, I mean, we've done over 450 million already since the start of the year. So we're doing all that we can to facilitate our farmers stepping up to where they can supply towards them. Thank you. SMTE loan, the one I mentioned that we put $1 billion on lend to small and medium enterprises, so it's farmers and manufacturers as well. One of the things we've done too is when the tourism stakeholders come to us and say, listen, we have dire shortage of certain products, we actually step in and say, listen, everybody come here, we can't get to their lines and so on. We're going to help our farmers, give them the expertise, give them the seedlings, give them the technical know-how to be able to bolster that business. Strawberries is another one, a very perishable product. And so it turned out that we could fetch a much higher margin if our farmers in Jamaica supplied the hotels with berries, strawberries and so on. So we went in and invested, bought greenhouses for farmers and so on. And they themselves scaled up and supplied tourism to the point now where they're all driving Audis and BMWs and so on. It's a very, very successful program. We've done food safety training. The hotels have HACCP standards that they have to source supplies. So we had to go into the farms to say, listen, this is the standard so that the sourcing can match so that you can have the contracts for the hotels. So overall, I partnered with JSIF as well. I heard persons talking about that, so I will say that slide. But what I just want to finish with is the opportunities. Horticulture for tourism. Again, many farmers don't tend to think about that. All those wedding bouquets, all those decorations and so on, most of them have to be imported. It's expensive to import because they have to be refrigerated and so on. If we can grow those and supply that, the tourism sector will gobble that up easily. Again, we have to move from sample to ample. We have to move from understanding where it can crop on time of the year and plant, then you fertilize and weed and whatever, and then you harvest, and then you try and market and then sell it. And then you don't have any more till the next season. Those days are gone. In fact, that's how we grew up. You know, after we sell the big harvest, everybody make money and let's buy some rum and drink and have a carnival. In fact, what is a carnival? Every day, buffet. You are supplying. There's another project that Linkage's team is doing, which is recognizing that because our clients are not familiar to many Jamaicans, vegetables and so on, they're rucolas, asparagus, you know, when you talk to a farm outside here, they say, what I no clue on how to grow those, and so inevitably these chefs will have to import them from overseas. One of the things we've done with our Linkage's program, we've gone into all the agricultural school, culinary herbs, and training those students on how to grow these culinary herbs so that they can supply the tourism sector. That's one of the outstanding programs that we're doing as well too. And that we're investing in JSIF to ensure we have the cold storage and so on to make sure those supplies are consistent. So I just want to share the opportunity that we have in the tourism space, bearing in mind that all these hotels where they may have one or two branches in Jamaica, they have a network of hotels across the globe. And so you get in with an outstanding product, it means you can get into their 100 hotels across. So tremendous opportunity for us to grow step by step and be able to supply the hotel chains right across the world. So that's the opportunity I want to share with you.
Let's hear it for, thank you very much, Kevin. Let's hear for Dr. Wallace. really set the stage for us right now. 68%. You know, I think of tourism linkages as a way to export without actually exporting, because the foreign market has come onshore. And there's so much that they will need. Everything that you use at home, they will need there. Okay, everything that you use at home, they would be relevant and an opportunity for you with our tourism market. I wondered if I could ask Dave Fairmont if he wanted to add anything from his perspective. Dave?
Presentations before, I would classify myself as a dreamer, right? Dream the dream before you live the dream. And if we all were just thinking about what would Jamaica look like if we were able to properly integrate agriculture into the tourism space. You know, we talk about horticulture, we talk about farm tourism, right? And then there is the bigger part of it, which is how we integrate the food system into the tourism sector. And if we were to just, you know, as I say, I dream a lot. So if you think about it and we say, look, what would Jamaica look like if we were able to get that done? We'll transform this country, basically. And the mega hotels that have been coming into Jamaica over the last several years have changed the game, quite frankly, in Jamaica. They, not just from a visitor arrival standpoint, and you know, they bring in their own travel agents and tourists into the island. But in terms of the supply chain network, it's not like a small hotel anymore. Just to get their inputs a lot from the small farmers, etc., that can just naturally scale into that space. When you get into the big mega hotels like Rio, for example, as you heard, I think the presenter said yesterday, they have to just choose a few hotels. They just can't supply it, right? So the opportunities are boundless for us. I think we really need, with mega hotels, we need mega projects in agriculture. And one of the things that the poultry sector has I think, taught us here is how to control that narrative and be able to scale up as those investments come. So tourism maybe, in terms of the poultry sector, maybe somewhere in the region of 20%, right? But it's growing, right? But the mega hotels require consistency in supply, right? So this on and off thing cannot work with hotels, and that's where we are losing the battle. So yes, I think some of the things we are doing with the agro parks, etc., will help to alleviate some of the issues, and I think we will get there. But for me, that is like organic. What we really need is some major investments in agriculture, right? We need big partnerships. There are companies out there, if it can't be done here, there are companies out there internationally that we need, just like we attract hotels and companies to come here. We can scale up, and I think, Chris, we really need to also embrace technology. Right? So in poultry, we control the entire value chain. So when we control the entire value chain, that doesn't mean that our best dressed chicken is the only player in our business. We have all our farmers. We have somewhere in the region of about 65 to 70 contract farmers, which have invested billions of their own dollars into producing poultry. Right, and then yes, we collect and process and market, but also the whole distribution chain is also, the logistics is also important, right? And again, we have many independent contractors that are controlled by us so that we can ensure timely delivery, because that's also important to the hotels and with the consistency. So I'm just saying that I think the entire value chain for all the agricultural crops, you know, the leafy greens, etc., which is a big opportunity out there, right? We need to be able to scale up to the size of these hotels. And all of those hotels we see coming on street, the Hard Rock, and I think there's the other one, Palace, that is coming there. These hotels, there's no single farmer that can supply one of those hotels. Right? So again, if we dream the dream, guys, and we think about the opportunities that are out there, Jamaica could be transformed. It's the largest employer of labor here, right? And I think we need to also see agriculture as a business. I think Jamaica still, and Jamaicans still see agriculture as a small man type of activity. Right? And agriculture, the world over, the countries like the Netherlands, etc., that have really excelled at agriculture, it's no different from any other industry, manufacturing industry. You have engineers, you have biologists, right? People with PhDs, masters, and that could also absorb a lot of our technical people coming out of universities, which quite frankly, if we think about it, we go to university and we do chemistry and biology and so on. How many jobs are here for that? But if we can develop the sector in a meaningful way, that will absorb everybody. You know, so I want to just share some of that perspective.
Thank you very much, Dave. And I'm going to ask Kieran to comment on how he sees the problem, how we can solve that problem, because you laid it up very nicely for us. It's 2/3 of what they consume that we're missing. And you have to ask yourself the question, why aren't we as they don't? Some aspects of the problem, you know, we're not consistent. There are issues, inconsistency for quantity and quality. And there are also untapped areas. I understand that furniture is another big wide open area. It doesn't speak agriculture so directly, but there are just a number of other untold opportunities. I did want to do a quick shameless mention that as JAPO, we're in the partner pavilion downstairs, our representatives are here. I'm going to ask Andrea Reach. It's a sector of specific focus for us, especially for agriculture. So we do all sort of culture. So we do all sort of range of events. Sometimes we work with TF at the same event to bring the buyers and the sellers together. Remarkable how successful those events are. People are always meeting up and discovering opportunities for the first time, and business gets better. Hold up the linkage event downstairs with you eating lunch. It's important in eat, and that's an important linkage event as well. I'm going to ask you to send me any questions you have by WhatsApp, if you don't mind. My phone number is 224-3183. Christopher Denny. It's a shameless plug. Now you all have my phone number. All right, so if you need any help from John Pro, feel free to give me a call. I will repeat the number from time to time. 224-876-224.
Things for Jamaicans, where there's a problem, that where there's the opportunity that's in front of them. And I just hope that now that we have a lot of access, we have a lot of technology at our fingertips, access to information is no longer controlled by the few. Every single person here has a smart device and can go on AI and can get all the answers and all the information and in record time. So I believe there's almost nothing left except for us to take action as a people, as a nation, and a big way of pooling resources in order to take a bigger step. I think it's a psychological change. We have a huge trust deficit in this country. So we may have somebody with money, but no time, and we have a farm or a land or opportunity, and we have all the time but no money. In any other nation, they would pool together, and both of them make some good money. In Jamaica, we kind of have a tendency, boy, I can't trust them, that. So both of them stay in the position they are. And I think time has come for us to really step forward as a nation, step forward as a people, start having more collaborations, more cooperatives, more partnerships, more boards that then invest together to then create the yield, because otherwise it's going to pass us all the opportunities that are sitting on us right now in Jamaica.
Yes, sir. I remember a panel that presented yesterday, that met yesterday. Dr. Bellamy mentioned any fish we can produce, we can sell. There's no shortage of demand. Nick, I'm forgetting his last name right now, he mentioned any kind of orchard crop. I'm managing where orchard crops, mangoes, bread. Before I asked Kelly Dawn to make her comments on how to solve the problem, I heard the ambassador at a recent event, or ambassador to the United States, Anthony Anderson, suggesting that he's getting calls from potential investors looking at Jamaica. If Jamaicans don't waiting for us to make our vocation and make ourselves personally wealthy from it, if we don't move on it, it's not going to sit there forever. The tourists need to be fed right away. Kelly Dawn.
Thank you very much, Chris. A couple of years ago, I did SBA for CSE, and I looked at mini-set technology in the production of yam in St. Anne. And at the time, the farmer that I met with was a young man just getting into farming, and he was planting his yam hills using the yam stick, very, very manual process. And I was quite interested because the young man had the opportunity to do anything else, and he chose farming because he saw the vision of farming. None of his other classmates got into that space. He did. He stayed the course. When I met with him the first time around, I said to him, what kind of technology are you using to do this? He said he's not using any technology. He's using the method that his grandfather taught him. I kept following up with him because it interested me. What was quite interesting was that 10 years later, he said to me, everything has changed. And he has now fully incorporated technology into what he's doing. Agri-technology has changed how he has done business. He was able to put his siblings through school without breaking a sweat because of what technology was able to do for his business. And I'm saying all of that to say that, just to emphasize the point, that we do have to look at agriculture differently. We do have to incorporate the elements of business that any other sector does to grow. We do have to look at financing in a different way, and it's the DPJ coming with their products to support the market. We do have to look at the linkages and the opportunities that presents. Our hotel sector is huge. And we heard it. We can't supply any one hotel. We have to pick a few or even one in order to supply. And so the opportunity is now. The fact of the matter is that our government agencies are very keen on working together. Chris would have mentioned JAMPRO's role in it, and you know, that is important, because what we don't want either as government is for people to be having to go to many different entities in order to establish. So the time is now. We need to take advantage of it. We have the enabling landscape to do so. We have the incentives around it. We have the financing around it. We have the skills around it. Of course, there may be some gaps that we need to fill, but let's work together to fill that in order for us to achieve the objectives that we know we can. In order for us to not just dream the dreams, but to live the dream.
Thank you very much, Kelly Dawn. Kelly Dawn put it together very well. I'll share in her observation. I have noticed a change in the way government operates. They're very proactive. Evidence of that is right here on the stage with two, JAMPRO has been around for a little while, but two of the three agencies that are here are relatively new. I think you're 10 years and 20, but 20 is not so new anymore. But even then, I can remember when TEF started. I'm still holding on to do that. It's an indication of how serious the government is about having a desired impact on the country, on economic growth. And there are other agencies. Cargo Invest itself, which is the current incarnation of an older agency. They are very proactive. You are here because of them. The government is doing its part to make and facilitate things to happen. It's now over to you to move on this opportunity. So I don't know, did you want to share anything additionally?
Chris, I just wanted to also weigh in on technology, right? So one of the real keys for the technology, what it will solve is year-round production. One of the challenges right now with agriculture is that we are doing open field agriculture and it's depending on the weather patterns, right? So, you know, if the pattern changes, then you will see it in the supermarkets. Crops are here today, gone tomorrow. Right, and one of the big advantages that the greenhouse technology offers is year-round production, right? And in addition, you also have higher density, right, of production output as well, within a smaller acreage, less usage of water resources, far less, right? So yes, there's a big barrier to entry because of the capital outlay, right? And this is where I'm saying, I think we have all the stakeholders, you know, whether it's the DBJ, etc., for the finances, but we need to get low rates to allow and encourage people to take a step to make invest. Because that invest, and let me emphasize that Canada, the Netherlands, and I use the Netherlands a lot around the place because the Netherlands, as small as they are the second largest exporter of food in the world, right? And they remember, Netherlands is a temperate country, right? All greenhouse technology, right? So it does pay back for itself quickly, but the entry cost is high. And I think we need to change our approach to farming and see how technology can flatten out the supply chain, the ups and downs.
I want to underline that when I ask you to go to the microphone. I think we can take questions as we go. One of the observations that I have made in talking to a number of players is that we tend to be smaller players producing for a premium price at a high cost. Then there are smaller players who are producing for a premium in-market price, right, above industry market price when compared to similar industries abroad, and we produce things at a high cost. We definitely have a strong niche market. We definitely have a strong captive market when we look at local tourism. If we were to streamline our production and make it more efficient, there's so much value added that we can trap as profit for ourselves. Yes, or I'm going to ask you to identify yourself, say what your affiliation is, and ask your question.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shelley Heaven, the CEO and founder for Farm Linker, and we supply fresh produce to hotels. Our model is really to talk to the hotels to try to understand what their demand is, and then we organize farmers to grow the produce on a schedule to have a consistent supply all year round, because we believe that this is the solution to that inconsistent supply chain that we're having. But one of the things that we have observed is that the entire hotel sector, and this is a challenge that we're having, they have a bidding system. And the bidding system does not facilitate production-based planning or demand-based production. So the question is being asked here, how can we have greater linkages between tourism and agriculture? How can we benefit more? And I believe that the solution can only be found when we shift to demand-based production and production planning. How the bidding system works today is that you win the bid this week and you're required to start delivering next week several thousand pounds of produce per hotel per week, all of which require 12 to 16 weeks to grow or more. Now, this to me is chaos. And if we're going to really shift and achieve the benefits that we want, we have to get that shift within the hotel sector to get them to start doing business in a different way, because they are complaining about the problem of inconsistent supply, but they are not recognizing that their own behavior is contributing to the problem.
Okay.